Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another video on Conqueror's Blade. So today, what are we going to be doing? We are going to be taking a look, sort of a second look I suppose I should say, at the Halberdier sergeants. So if you remember, how long ago was it? Probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now. I did a video on these guys, these Halberdier sergeants. Kind of enjoyed them, didn't really get on all that well with them. But as it turns out, because I'm a complete moron, I was just playing them pretty abysmally and was completely missing out on really how they should be played, and that kind of meant that I didn't do very well. So a lot of you in the comments gave some really good advice and some tips on how I can improve my gameplay. Really kind of proved the fact that, you know, I've still got so much to learn in this game, and these were certainly one of them. And yeah, you were absolutely spot on. It is a lot better. Last time in the previous video I was basically always using them in the phalanx block. But that meant, of course, whenever you move to a position, they have to sort of regroup up, reform up before they activate phalanx mode. That make them really kind of inflexible and hard to use. And it's what a lot of you recommended was to use the dispersed formation, often in combination with the charge. So you know, in dispersed formation, charge in, and then immediately activate brace, and then of course they brace, and then they just sort of kill everything that they touch. Sometimes they charge, sometimes they don't. It seems to depend kind of what I'm going up against. Sometimes it's easier just to sort of walk into it and activate the ability. So a little bit of a mix. But yeah, certainly makes them a lot nicer. I was playing them a little bit last night with just some friends casually. And yeah, I was getting on with them pretty well. So they're certainly quite a nice unit. Just been having a few more battles this morning just to get a little bit of footage. No super amazing games or anything, but I kind of just wanted to very quickly revisit them just to say that you were all absolutely spot on, and the way to play these is, yeah, in the dispersed formation or the circle formation. I find I got on better with the dispersed because even though they turn round, they start off backwards, half of them. So I kind of got on better with this, particularly if you can get them to clump up in a narrower area. Then I find this dispersed works really well, and you just activate brace manually rather than trying to use the phalanx block. Anyway, really all I've got to say on them. I want to do a whole sort of review on them like we did last time, so let's just hop into a battle, see how we got on, and try and play these guys properly this time. So, here we are, into Algolia. Seem to be getting this map quite a lot recently, but not quite sure why. And, yeah, just grab the Halberdier sergeants out. The towers are going in, so I decided to go to the one on the left, just dragging them over. I say, just a few casual games today, nothing that I've tried too hard on. I was a little bit short on time, so I didn't get to have quite the games perhaps I would like, or they potentially deserve. Now kind of I know how they work a lot better, but we do what we can. So we're pushing up the tower, just a few peasants initially, nothing really to worry about. I was just making sure the unit was actually turning up. Just one, focusing on them too much. The team is doing a fine job killing serfs without me throwing myself around too much really. We just get stuck in, start to clear them out. I'm not using brace or anything really in this situation. I'm just calling them to me and they can just do their own thing. You know, there's nothing there that they really need to worry about. A few enemy ranged units. Again, nothing really to warrant much concern. And we're through, and B is basically clear. So I just set them up, put them in brace, decide what I want to do. In hindsight, I would have probably lined them up lengthways with that archway so that I'd had the potential to then charge through it. But I didn't think to do that at the time, so as you can see, I'm kind of waiting here now basically for the cap. It looks like there's a bit of enemy stuff kind of building out on the other side of that doorway. So we decided to push forwards. I didn't charge in here because I didn't think I'd make it through the doorway cleanly. But I basically just pushed through and into the shield unit. And you can see the sort of amount of bracing damage we get and the amount of kills we get quite quickly. As you can see, all the bracing ticks going on basically as we pushed into that unit of spears. And yeah, quite effective, quite pleased, and pretty much no damage taken for, you know, a good 10-20 kills or something. So certainly quite a nice little bit of unit potential there. So then as we push through the breach in the wall, kind of, we're being flanked from two ways. Initially I was just having a bit of a look what was going on. Just some village watchmen or whatever they are, some peasants at the back. We get these ASAPs coming over, which makes me kind of quickly flip direction. And that's one of the nice things I find about these halberdiers in this new formation, is the fact you can really be quite mobile. You can turn around very quickly and change direction. So as we pushed into these pipe militia and brace, we just butchered down the enemy hero really quite quickly. And those pipe militia, they're like a full 30 stack unit, died just within kind of a matter of seconds. And then we're back and we're pushing on. Decided to go to the D way. Looks like the team is kind of pushing C pretty hard, so I thought, well, let's push down the D. Hopefully there's not going to be too many enemies down this way. So we've got some Namcans on the left and some basically enemy Sealidars up front. Since the Javelins were facing off frontally, I go round to the Namcans. A lot of you will say I probably should have charged there. Maybe I should. I thought by the time I cleared the corner, it didn't really make it any quicker for me. And it means now in this situation I've still got my charge off cooldown. So I think it was worth not charging on the Namcans, but hard to say. So we push in and I basically immediately brace into the Sealidars and what's left of the Rattan marksmen. Kind of chaos, everyone's sort of a little bit all over the place. We get a cav charge, but don't really take too much damage, relatively speaking. And considering we're fighting a tier 5 unit of Sealidars and now cav as well, the guys are still picking up quite a few brace damage kills as they're just sitting there. You know, we're up to 140 odd kills now. So the unit's really sort of, between us, we've achieved sort of well over 100 kills, which isn't too bad going. Unfortunately, a couple of enemy heroes just continuing the pressure on. I try and reform into the face of the new stuff that's coming, into a bit more of a block. But yeah, we're just there's a lot of enemy heroes and stuff there. And unfortunately, we just get completely overwhelmed and cut down a little bit fairly quickly there towards the end. And unsurprisingly, yet again on Algolia, unfortunately I'd lost a really good chunk of this unit already. And so I thought this was going to be a completely crap clip, so I was just going to throw it away. But then actually, it kind of shows a little bit, even with sort of a half-strength unit, these guys can still be relatively effective. You know, even at sort of diminished capabilities. So as these guys push in, we've got Serix coming down, we've got these Martellatori, and we've got a unit of condos behind. I just push straight in. Again, sometimes I find I charge, sometimes I don't. In this situation, I thought I could get them sort of clustered enough without really sort of warranting a charge. Particularly as kind of they're pushing off that siege tower anyway. So the Condottieri are really pushing into us quite hard. We take some casualties, but we are really cutting down quite a lot of them and finishing off a really good chunk of the unit. Managed to kill that enemy hero as well. I was getting a bit low on health. I thought that musket might get me, so I pulled back. And I just lined ourselves up and charged into what's kind of left of that enemy unit over there at the back. And we still get a few little bit of hits, a little bit of extra damage, and I brace then as I sort of slam into them. Just finishes off what's left of the enemy unit. And even though there's now only 10 of them left and they're pretty much all nearly dead, they can still actually be quite a pest, even just with this few. Push them onto the siege tower, brace them, and you see we actually get quite a few ticks against these spear sergeants. Actually do a fair chunk of damage. It's a shame they ended up retreating. If they were pushing forwards, I think we'd have probably killed the whole unit quite effectively. But that really kind of sums up my Part 2 experience with Halberdier sergeants. Certainly much better using that looser formation, charge and brace, or sort of a combination of sometimes just pushing in, sometimes charging and bracing. Kind of as you saw like against those Rattans and Sealidars, I used the charge brace, and against other units sometimes I just push in and brace. I think it depends how clean it is. If there's a nice little bit of open ground where I can get a nice clean charge and I know all the units going to push in and brace nicely, then I think I'm more inclined to use it. Whereas if it's going to be a bit sort of rougher, there's corridors, archers, things that are going to block half the unit, then I prefer just to push them all in manually to make sure all the unit kind of goes in. But anyway, that's kind of all I've got for you today. As I say, just a bit of a short video. I just wanted to revisit them very briefly because I thought it'd make a nice video, and I didn't have anything else prepared, so I didn't have that much time to level anything today. I'm still leveling my Sealidars at the moment, so hopefully we're going to have sort of a second look at them kind of as a much higher level unit. See how we're kind of getting on with them sometime soon. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for a load more Conqueror's Blade content. Keep throwing those tips at me. Always happy to improve, and I shall see you all on the next video.